Good morning and welcome to MBA's 154th year. This is the smallest assembly gathering in person I've done. There are 7 advisees in here, 5 in my advisory and 2 in Mr. Artison's. And we thought it was right to at least do some semblance of what we'd normally do in a school year by having this assembly program this morning. I did a brief bit of research on the school's history this weekend when I was thinking about beginning our 154th year, and my mind reeled to the year of 1918, the fall of 1918, when the pandemic known as the Spanish flu hit the world and Nashville in particular, which did suffer some serious problems. That was quite a serious pandemic, maybe I think the most deadly of all the pandemics. There were an estimate of 20 to 40 million deaths, and the reason the number's so vague is they just didn't have the best way of recording the actual numbers. But I wonder what it was like in 1918 at MBA. I couldn't find a lot of information. As I said, Nashville was hit pretty badly. There were at least 700-800 deaths in Nashville, and as you probably know, there are just over 1,300 deaths in the state of Tennessee thus far. So it gives you a sense of how that was a tough time. So everything is slightly different right now. We only have half the school here, half here though virtually as well, and pleased to have the virtual group. I got a fun email from Dr. Boyd last night, who had sent a picture of Mr. Rogers, and some of you have seen the recent movies about Mr. Rogers and the celebrated career he had in television, talking to both young people and adults. And it said that he did all of his teaching online and was proof that you can do a wonderful job teaching virtually. So we are adjusting to all of these mitigations, mask, physical distancing, and occupancy reminders, and directional signage, and tents. I took my mask off briefly to illustrate that our nurse, Ms. Artison, had reminded us that there are proper ways to put your mask on and take it off by using the ends of the mask, usually these strings, and trying to avoid touching the front of the mask if you can. And I also wanted to mention that I know they're not so comfortable to wear 724, and if you need to go outside and breathe a little and you're at a physical distance from someone and want to take your mask off for a bit, that's understandable, but on the other hand, we are expecting you to wear your mask all the time while you're on campus. Please remember to do so. After school, please remember to stay at a physical distance, whether you're in lines or just visiting with friends at the end of the day. So we put these outdoor tents up for reasons that we realized that people would do better if they did have some outside areas, either to teach in or simply to have some time to relax or to do study halls or to have lunch. And that gets me to the lunch plan this week and next week and in the foreseeable future. We will be using 2 tents where you'll get your lunch. You should have pre-ordered your lunches. So please try to remember your orders each day. Please be patient because they've worked hard, the dining hall, to do the best job possible given the situation we're in. And it will get through it, but we know the first week or so it'll be important for us to be patient. Please take good care of the campus while we're in this strange period. Your leadership, both on and off campus, will mean a lot to us. I brought my most recent bobblehead of Dr. Fauci this morning to illustrate that he'd be proud of the ways that you are carrying yourselves through the day. We're really pleased with how the morning has gone so far, and we're looking forward to making certain that we can keep school open and continue to work hard together to do so. And a number of you have done some interesting things during the last 6 months. In particular, we were really very grateful to have Jacob and Will Huizinga do these face shields. We knew that they would be helpful to the faculty. At the time I talked to them, I didn't realize the emphasis that would be on using the mask. So it is important for our faculty to keep their mask on if they're going to use the face shields. But if we get to a point where the face shields are acceptable, obviously being able to see people's expressions and having them as a resource means a lot. So I thank again Jacob and Will. The remote learning hybrid plan that we're in is certainly imperfect to some extent, but certainly can be a wonderful resource for all of us to keep up with the material. This morning, the class I teach was synchronous. We had 8 people that were virtual or remote, and we had 7 people in the classroom. And you can create a sense of community if all of you, particularly those of you who are remote during these weeks, do a great job of being present, of being on time, of being alert, and part of the discussion while things are working both remotely and here on the campus. So please have a good sense of your schedule each day while you're both here and at home. We will do assemblies, perhaps regularly. This morning's assembly is meant to be short and fairly simple, but it would be great to get your ideas. And some of the best assemblies we've had in the past have been assemblies that students and faculty have done. So if you're interested in speaking and being part of a program one morning, I would love to hear from you. We've already planned some music for the assembly of August 31st, but we can certainly have another part to that program. And we are hoping that some of you will volunteer to speak and to be part of these programs in the next weeks and months. Tomorrow is the 100th year of the women's suffrage vote. Tennessee was especially important in that history and ultimate decision to give women the right to vote. The reason why it was important is that it had come down to the state of Tennessee to be the final vote to decide on the 19th Amendment. A gentleman, a legislator named Harry Byrne, cast the final vote. And it is perhaps a little bit of legend, but it's also literal history in looking back at the records to note that his mother had written him and had reminded him of the importance of considering the value of women having the right to vote. And Harry did, in fact, vote for women's rights to vote. And Tennessee then clinched the decision for the 19th Amendment. It was quite a controversial decision at the time, but a decision that I think was right. And I would have been wearing yellow roses, which supported the right for women to vote. And thought I'd tell you that there are 2 ways in which you can remember MBA and this 19th Amendment. Down at the Parthenon are statues of the suffragettes, the women who supported the right to vote, done by 1974 graduate Alan LeQuire. And so I urge you to go down and see that work by Alan LeQuire. They're really wonderful works. And secondly, we will ring our sesquicentennial bell, the bell we bought at MBA's 150th year, right outside the dining hall. We will ring it 19 times tomorrow at noon to recognize this 19th Amendment and to have our own celebration and recognition on the campus of this vote. Finally, I just ask your appeal to do the right things during this time. It's complex at best. It's not easy to follow all the mitigations, but I believe we can do a great job, and people this morning, as I said, we're really proud of you. And I am counting on you and believe we can get through this in great ways. I noticed this small hat that I had on the lectern, I guess, to make a final comment. This was a piece of MBA history from the 1940s. A friend of Mr. Story's found it at a garage sale just down the road, and we found out the name of the owner who graduated from MBA in 1949. So we guess it was some sort of hat that the 7th graders must have worn back in the early 40s. Thought that would be a little taste of humor for you as I ended assembly, and thank you for tuning in, and hope this is a great day. It is really to be great. It is really great to be back on campus. As I told my class and advisory, this is the first day that I personally have been back at MBA when everyone's here since January 27th. So when you lose something, you know how valuable it is, and it is really meaningful and valuable to be back with all of you. Good to see you virtually and the 7 here in person, and look forward to hearing from some of you about upcoming assemblies. Thanks.